country of ours. My name is George Sapo.
And I am Doreen Ampofen. GBC is giving equal opportunities to all the presidential candidates contesting in this year's parliamentary and general elections. Now, stay with us. We'll be starting the encounter soon.
All right, and just to also remind you of the Electoral Commission's guidelines for this particular exercise for a free and fair and transparent election. Of course, for the GJA's guideline also to ensure that there's accuracy, there's balance, and there's that detailed reportage in everything that's going to happen in the 2024 general election.
The Electoral Commission is also cautioning against hate speech, conflict, and prejudice. At some point in the conversation, I'll guide our audience through a question and answer session.
All right, so let's start off with our first drill. What we're going to do is that we're going to introduce our guest for this evening, like we do all the time. We'll get you his profile, and then we'll welcome him to his seat. First of all, let's get the profile of our guest for this evening's presidential encounter.
George Twum-Barimah-Adu, known as Uncle George, was born on August 18, 1963, the third child of the late Frank Brakum-Adu Sr. Teacher Adu, a public servant, and the late Beatrice Mariam Ama Echampong, a government school teacher at Old Tafo. George is the nephew of the late Kweku Boateng Esquire, a former government minister in the government of Osajefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, a brother to Margaret Mary Adu, MD Omega Lodges, Frank Brakum-Adu Jr., former MD of Calbank PLC, and the late Joseph Boachi Dankwa Edu, former MP of Ibuakwa North constituency. George attended Castle Road Methodist Primary School at Abraka, Engelbert School Airport Residential Area, and Garrison Primary, Bema Camp, before attending Presbyterian Boys Secondary School, Presec, Legon, now Presbyterian Boys Senior High School, from 1975 to 1980. After his secondary school, George pursued a bachelor's degree in international relations from the College of Arts and Sciences, Florida International University, FIU, Miami, Florida, and later a Master of Arts in International Studies at the same university, graduating on April 19, 1991. At FIU, he was a student senator representing the College of Arts and Sciences, chairman of the Board of Governors for the North Miami campus, a faculty scholar, member of Faculty Scholars Executive Board, and chairman of the Faculty Scholars Committee on Housing. George returned to Ghana in 1993 and started work with the National Insurance Commission in October of the same year. He left the commission in April 2000 to prepare to enter the private sector. In 2001, he became an executive director of Fun Games Limited, developers of Arrive Alive board game. In 2006, he authored the HIV and AIDS book titled Behavior Brings Success, which is currently in its 4th edition. In 2009, he developed the Road User Playing Cards, which is the Ghana Highway Code in a card game format, Bonanza Card Game, and Noodle Board Game, which are currently licensed to Dominion Games Limited, developers of Word Meets T mobile word game, and other digital products. Uncle George is a practicing Christian, married to Winifred Twum-Barimah-Adu, and they are blessed with 3 children, Nanefia, Kwekunshwa, and Kwejo Odoi.
All right, welcome back. Let's put our hands together to welcome our guest for this evening, George Twum-Barimah-Adu. Good to see you. All right, I should say we have 2 Georges here.
Thank you.
Yes, so George Senior and George Junior. Welcome, make yourself comfortable.
Thank you so much.
All right, so for the sake of this program, since we are both Georges, and this is my space, so I'll become the Senior George. And then you become the junior George. But I hope you're well.
I'm very well. How about you?
I'm very well too. Thank you.
Thank God.
How's it been?
It's been good so far. It's been tiring but good.
And what have you noticed on your campaign throughout the country?
That we've neglected the human factor in for 32 years. We have pursued a wrong model of economic policy. And it's time we come back to what is all matters, which is the human.
What's the human factor you're talking about?
I mean, if you talk about development, it's about the human. Everything else is about the human being. So every policy that any government pursues is supposed to ensure that the well-being, the welfare, the happiness, and what's it called? The economic success of the human is at the center of it. But so far, our journeys across the whole country, we have seen that the human being has been completely neglected. You see people lacking basic needs. You see people who you can see that there is no hope in their eyes because they've been left behind by their government for 32 years. And it's time we change that. So that is why I'm here.
All right. The usual stuff, I think I explained to you earlier. We will have some time for you to explain things to our viewers and our listeners too. But before that, my question that I just don't go away with when it comes to this has got to do with what plans do you have for GBC if you get elected as the president of Ghana?
I think the last time I was here, I had a quite look around GBC. This is about my 5th or 6th time being at GBC. And I see GBC currently as taking GBC to like a BBC. Because I believe that it is time Africa we say our own story. If we don't say our own story, somebody will say our story for us. So I believe that it is time we have a dialogue and a conversation in this country on how we can look at our GBC and how we can resource it, not using TV license, because I don't believe in TV license.
Why?
Because I believe that TV license is very old and archaic.
But you want GBC to be like the BBC.
That is why
BBC believe in TV license.
And there are other ways of how that's why I said let's have the conversation and see how we can resolve GBC. All of us are agreeing that it is time as Ghanaians and Africans we tell our own story and don't leave it to the CNNs and the BBCs and the Al Jazeeras to tell our story for us. So my plan for GBC is actually to elevate GBC. I believe you have the space, you have the machinery, you have the talent, and I believe that can be done. What is left is the conversation. I mean, to have in the broader space with the Ghanaian.
Okay, sure. So you have 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Talk to Ghanaians. What George actually has stored for them.
Hello to
your camera is that way. Yes. And so hello at least you rotate between that and that.
Okay. Thank you so much. Hello to everyone listening. My name is George Twum-Barimah-Adu, a presidential candidate in this year's December 7th presidential election. I am number 11 on the ballot paper. For the last 32 years, we have seen a nation with so much potential, however, has failed to achieve any bit of that. On December 7th, exactly 18 days from today, we'll be going to the polls to elect 276 parliamentarians and a new president. And this is another chance for Ghanaians to take this opportunity and for the first time ask themselves, for 32 years of NPP-NDC rule, actually, what have we attained? What we have seen today as I speak to you from GBC studio is a nation in crisis. We can't pay our bills. On my way here, I was listening to the radio, and we owe so much to the IPPs, over $2 billion. We can't pay our bills. Our city has collapsed. Our economy is in shambles. Our schools are being fed expired food, rotten food. Our mothers are not able to feed their children, and so many other problems that we are faced with. And you ask yourself, 32 years of NDC NPP rule, how did we get to this stage? And the answer is very simple. Because we've had two parties that have taken us for a ride. For 32 years, they think and they believe that Ghana and Ghanaians have no choice. We have only them. It's either used breath or recycled breath. But on December 7th, it is it's a great opportunity for us as Ghanaians to go to the polling booth, and vote for a different type of candidate. And that is I, George Twum-Barimah-Adu. So you ask, why should you or why should Ghanaians vote for me? And the answer is very, very simple. What I bring to the table and to Ghana and to Ghanaians is a development model that is not only centered on economic growth, but on people-oriented development as well. For 32 years, the NDC and the MPP have pursued an economic agenda that I call the GOD agenda, growth-oriented development model. Their main concern is about GDP went up by 2%, 3%. That is all they care about, forgetting that the whole agenda about development and growth is about you, the individual, the person, the human being. If you wake up and you hear the news, like we did in the time of Mills, that Ghana will attain the highest economic growth, 14%, but your pocket is telling you that the growth of your pocket is negative 14%, then you realize that the whole economic agenda being pursued by the government is wrong. So on December 7th, what I bring is I will pursue a two-tier policy where, yes, I will go ahead with economic growth, but my main center will be people-oriented development, what I call POD. And what it means is that the Ghanaian will be my main attention. My policy that I'm bringing on board is called the Common Prosperity for All. Common Prosperity for All. That is my policy. And the whole policy is to ensure that every Ghanaian, irrespective of wherever you are, who you are, your gender, your wealth, every policy of my government is to ensure that whatever you are doing, you are able to earn and generate prosperity from it. So, first and foremost, I will remove the e-levy and bring what I call E-Sika. And what is E-Sika? With e-levy, the government takes your money, puts it in its account, and does whatever it wants to do with it. With E-Sika, you spend, you save. So when you spend with E-Sika, when you spend money, that money that would have gone to government goes to your own E-Sika account. It is attached to your Ghana card. And it is partitioned in three parts. It is one part pension. When you are 60 years old, it is paid to you with all the interest accruing. One part housing, because as part of my Common Prosperity for All agenda is to ensure that every Ghanaian at least have a home of their own, a house they can call their own. That one part housing, in case you want to build your own house, get a mortgage, you can go and use that money for that. And one part welfare, which is after every 12 months, it is paid to you. With E-Sika, what that will mean is that we will set up the E-Sika fund, because that's this money, anytime you spend money using mobile or any form of electronic payment, you'll be deducted. So you spend, you save. When you go home, you can say to yourself, okay, today I spent 50 cedis, but you saved, because that percentage is gone to your own savings account. It is your own money. The other thing I'm bringing that is part of the Common Prosperity agenda is district contracts for the youth. All my thoughts across the district, and I've gone to almost all the districts, I think 4 or 5. What I see are youth who have the potential, they are qualified, but there is no job. So district contracts for the youth is to basically ensure that every government contract that goes to the district assembly, it is given solely to the youth in that district that qualify. If you're going to build a school, and we have youth in that district that are masons, that are electricians, plumbers, all they have to do is form a cooperative. it is awarded to them. Any contract that it is not of a, like I would say, it is not like you have to, let's say, build a highway. That one to go to the big highway. But anything of any other nature, schools, any building, roads, drains, bus stops, all of that, it goes to the youth in the district. This is meant to ensure that the youth in that district are able to earn money, create wealth. They will stay in that district because you only get a contract if you're in the district. If you leave that district, you don't get a contract. And we'll be able to create the economy in that district to be able to let the economy viable. The other thing I'm bringing is agric for wealth. And I have said this many, many times when I met with the farmers, and I met with them about, that is, a few times, and I always use my grandfather as a case study. My mother's father, Papa Achampong. Papa Achampong was a cocoa farmer. He has 7 children. But from his cocoa proceeds, he was able to educate 5 of them in the UK. Okay. Today, Ghanaian farmers, how many can do that? And my whole mission, my whole vision for Agric for Wealth is to restore wealth back to everybody engaged in agriculture. Whether you're a crop farmer, a poultry farmer, a husbandry, whether you're a fish farmer, it is to ensure that whatever you are doing, it will create wealth for you. You also will do what I call agropolitan enclaves. And what is an agropolitan enclave? It is like you have like an industrial hub. But this enclave, it is purely for agric. So you have your agro industry, you have your warehousing, and my warehousing will not be what is being said right now. My warehousing will be climate controlled. Okay. So when you overproduce, you take your produce to the warehouse. You are given a warrant. That warrant is like a check. Take it to the bank, you are given your money. Because your excess produce is in a warehouse, which is climate control, it won't go bad. We can store it as long as we want to store it. When food prices go up, we release to bring the price down. So my Agri for Wealth policy, again, is to ensure that farmers and all those in the agri space are able to generate wealth, make wealth from what they are doing. My other policy is DDI, Domestic Direct Investment. Since for the last 32 years, NDC, MPP, when they come to power, all they talk about is FDI, Foreign Direct Investment. We have a whole agency for it. They travel across the whole world, getting foreign investors to come. They are given all the incentives and all the benefits, forgetting that when they make their money, they take it out. DDI is to ensure one simple thing: domestic direct investment. Any company that produces in Ghana, where a majority of their raw materials for their end product comes from Ghana, they get the same benefit, the same incentives, the same tax breaks as an FDI. It is meant to improve and develop our local industry. It is meant to make us self-reliant. It is meant to make us free of aid and to grow the Ghanaian company to be able to compete internationally. And then also I have Ghana First Within Cost, which is quite very important. Ghana First Within Cost, for the first time after 32 years, my government, we will reimagine every sector of the economy. We will, after that, we will redefine it and repurpose it to ensure that it benefits Ghana, it benefits the Ghanaian, and it is within cost. This will mean that every sector, from housing to energy, to social welfare, to child care, to health care, every sector is going to be reimagined to make sure that it is working for Ghana and for Ghanaian, and it is bringing wealth to the Ghanaian and to Ghana. Then I have my four-day work week, which is based on Article 24(2) of the Constitution. The 4-day work week is all part of the Common Prosperity for Wealth. Because now we work 5 days. Yes. Work. The 4-day work week is the Work and Happiness Program. You work Monday to Thursday. Friday, Sunday, you are off. It is meant to improve productivity. So many countries now in Ireland, UK, they're all doing it, a 4-day work week. And it has shown that it has increased productivity. It is meant to ensure that you also have time for yourself, for family, for your own business, for rest, whatever you want to use it for. So Monday to Thursday we work is for the employer. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is for you. And then what I call the Create for Wealth. Now the Create for Wealth is for those in the creative, tourism, events, and culture industry. Again, like the Create for Wealth, it is meant to ensure that we support them and give them all the necessary tools and help. That whatever they are doing, they are able to create wealth from it and make an income from it. And my quality education for all policy. Now, one thing I want to say, which I want to say very clearly, that free SHS has come to stay. It's not going anywhere. I want people to know one thing from George Twum-Barimah-Adu administration. Free SHS has come to stay. And for that, I think it is right that I thank our current president for the vision for putting that in place. Having said that, what my government will do is make it free SHS by quality.
Okay.
And what do I mean by quality? If I say quality, it is to ensure, because when I toured all these districts, I saw a clear difference within the educational structure in the country. The schools in the north, I saw some schools in the north, and a lot of schools under trees. I mean, thousands of them. And some of them, actually, my team and I walked into the forest, and we asked them why was the school there. They said because the tree had the biggest canopy. That's why the school was put underneath it. Had the biggest. So there was no like a man-made canopy. The tree branches was a canopy. So you have to walk deep into the forest for the school. Yet, we have so much money. So the quality education policy is to ensure that every Ghanaian student, irrespective of your location, irrespective of your well-being, irrespective of your family's background, you get the same quality education as someone in the top school. My kids they went to GIS. So I will use that as a standard. And how do I achieve that? You ask, how do you achieve to ensure that a school in Gushegu gets the same standard as a school in, let's say, Accra? It's very simple. So what that means is that we do, internet connectivity. We will build smart school enclaves. The government is building smart school. What I'll do, I'm building smart school enclaves. The two are different. Smart school enclaves, which means that enclave will have everything in there that will make sure that the student is able to have that quality education. And what it means is that I take you, George Twum, for example. Let's say you teach English. You're a very good English teacher. You sit in a space, anywhere you want to sit, whether from your house, you can sit there. And if at 8 a.m., the schools in Accra are teaching English 8 to 9. George Twum, who is the #1 English teacher, will pipe from his space to all the classrooms in Greater Accra region. That top quality education that you are good at. What the teacher will do, that teacher in the classroom will help with homework and will help with students that don't understand what is being taught. But for the first time, all the students across the country will get that quality teaching from a George Twum English lesson. That is excellent. And I'll do that across every other lesson, every other subject across the whole country. Be it chemistry, biology, economics, geography, social science, math, the same is going to happen. So all these policies are put in place to ensure that at the end of the day, the Ghanaian, the person, the human, benefits. Now, you can't do prosperity for all without checking corruption and government waste. It is very important. So one of the things a George Twum-Barimah-Adu presidency shall do is to ensure that we truly, truly, truly support the Attorney General's office, the Auditor General's Department, the Police Service, IOCO, the NIB. We enshrine, we give them all the support they need to be able to independently fight corruption. We also ensure that we truly enforce the Procurement Act. Procurement is that P that has been a big problem for this country. I mean, since the Act was enacted, it has caused a lot of problems in the sense that it has been abused over and over and over, with sole sourcing being the main thing being done by almost every government after government. It is sole sourcing. So that is one area I will look at to ensure that the Act is followed to the letter without anybody trying to circumvent it or go around it. The other thing I also do is to do away with this culture of impunity, where right now people feel like they are more of a higher citizen than everybody else, because all of it brings this corruption matter. And I will check wastage. We have a lot of wastage in the government sector. These are all areas where we can take money from to use for other things. So one, all government SOEs that are not profitable will be sold. All of them that are not making money. Don't worry about GBC. I saw your face.
Okay.
I saw your face. Don't worry about GBC.
Okay.
All government SOEs like Georg and the rest are not making money. They shall all be sold. One. Two, we'll put a cap on the value of vehicles government appointees can acquire and SOEs. You can't get up and go and spend $120,000 and buy a V8. We don't have that money. We'll put a cap, and that cap will ensure that if you can get a V8 for that cap, I don't mind as a president. We'll put a cap, and that cap will ensure that if the minister's car is X amount, the deputy minister is X minus 1. The CEO, who is in a government agent company that falls under the ministry, the CEO there cannot drive a car. It's more valued higher than the deputy minister. I don't care that that company is GCB that makes so much money. So far as the deputy finance minister car is X amount, yours cannot be more than that. That's one other way we check wastage. The other way we check is also to actually suspend government travel, except essential ones, because government travel has been one of the areas where a lot of money has been wasted, except the essential ones that we have to do. All these things are some of the things that a George Twum-Barimah-Adu government will put in place to ensure that my agenda of common prosperity for all is attained. I thank you.
We have to, okay, all right, thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for George. I don't know if you are actually watching the time, because you just spot on 20 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yes, just spot on 20 minutes, right? So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
One or two questions, then we'll move over to Doreen to get the audience also to ask some questions here. During your profile, I noticed that you're much into the gaming industry too. All right, that brings me to betting tax. What do you make of it?
Betting tax, I've been asked everywhere I go about betting tax. And I say that the percentage is too high. I will bring it down to 3%, but I'll keep it.
Why will you keep it?
I don't think, it's income. If you make income, you have to pay something on it to government. You see, I can understand people's concerns. If a government is not working for you, why should I pay tax? I can understand their concerns. But a George Twum-Barimah government will work truly for you. We shall work for the Ghanaian. We shall work for the individual. My day and afternoon and night is to ensure that the human person, the Ghanaian, the human-centered, gets all my attention. I am not here to score points. I am here to lift the Ghanaian to a level that should have been long ago. 32 years has been wasted. We don't have any more time to waste right now. Right now, we have to ensure that we build a Ghana that works for all and is able to produce and feed her children and is able to make wealth for her people. That is so. Yes, if you make income, you pay some tax, but you will not pay the 10%. You pay 3%.
Okay, yeah. But you're competing against some other candidates who are going to remove that tax, and you know the human nature. The human being doesn't like paying tax. So how attractive will your 3% be to those who are actually into betting?
If you go on my website, it says my first 100 days, and that falls under Ghana First policy. I said I will reimagine every sector of the economy. I will redefine and repurpose. And what it means is that the whole tax regime is going to be reimagined. In fact, under my government, you will pay less taxes than any other candidate on that ballot paper. And why do I say so? I say so because I am going to save money. I am going to ensure that there is value for money. Under Ghana First, it says Ghana First within cost. So what is being paid for, is it within cost? And if it's within cost, you realize that if you cut all the wastage, you check travel, you check all this money is being wasted on V8s, you don't need to tax all that money. So yes, somebody will say they will take it off entirely.
Yes.
But if you total their tax
tax components,
components and percentages, is more than mine.
It'll be more than yours.
Oh, I am going to truly scrap a lot of the taxes.
You're going to scrap a lot of the taxes.
Oh, yes.
You have an idea the number of taxes you will scrap?
I know, but I want to do that with the AGIs and the rest.
Okay. I mean, again, you're going to scrap taxes in the country where that struggles to make enough revenue for its developmental projects.
The issue about Ghana, I keep on always saying, it's not revenue.
But it's what?
Procurement.
Procurement.
We waste the money. The money, it's not revenue. It's a procurement. If we can check where we waste money, a flyover jumped from 60 million to 1 billion. I don't know the math. I've not seen the math. I don't know it. A Bank of Ghana building jumped from 80 million to $250 million. I don't know the math. But I said it's procurement. The money is not an issue. If we check procurement, we'll have money for GBC, we'll have money for even for Black Stars.
Okay. All right. You talked about you removing E-levy and introducing E-Sika. Help us to understand what's exactly, how is that going to work, the E-Sika?
So like I said, E-Sika is a spend and saving scheme.
Okay.
With E-levy, when you spend, it goes to the government.
So the government does its deductions.
It goes to government.
Yes.
It goes to their consolidated fund.
Yes.
Government's money.
Yes.
It's not your money anymore.
Okay.
With E-Sika, you spend. That money comes to your E-Sika account. It is owned by George Sapon. So every Ghanaian will have an E-Sika account tied to your Ghana card. So George Sapon, you have an E-Sika account. You bought Kofi Brookman. You paid Momo.
Yes.
That tax goes to your E-Sika account.
Okay.
And it is apportioned into 3 parts. At the end of the year, 12 months, we'll give you that one part. It is yours, with all the interest accrued. It will be managed by a Tier 2 pension fund, not SNIT. For SNIT, they just waste our money. It will be managed by a Tier 2 pension fund.
You don't believe in SNIT?
I believe in SNIT, but
yes.
I don't like them wasting our money.
You don't like the way they're wasting our money?
Yeah, I believe in SNIT. I don't like them wasting
you
our
finish this one. We'll find out how we're going to solve that wastage in SNIT.
Okay, so it starts your welfare, and that one, at the end of every 12 months, is paid to you. You can do anything you want to do with it. One portion is pension. For the first time with E-Sika, every Ghanaian will be on pension. When I was in Abrongo, at the market, I asked them, how many of you have pension? Only 2 raised their hand. All the people there. But with E-Sika, everybody automatically gets pension.
Okay.
And when you are 60, with all the interest, it is paid to you.
All right.
And as it's paid to you, are still spending, so you are still making more.
All right.
And then a third is housing. That's one of the problems we have a lot. As you finish school, you can afford. Everybody's paying rent, and it goes up every year. Now you can have your own money towards your own mortgage. And then also with the E-Sika fund which you have, it can also be used as collateral, because it's your money. Because the bank knows that money is, you always, it's basically, it's like you spend, you are saving. It's not like you're being paid a monthly salary. The first I'm spending, I am saving. I'm spending. Just imagine all the money you spent so far. If E-Sika was there long ago, you would have saved a lot by now. So that's what E-Sika does. E-Sika is to make everybody able to have a pension, housing, and welfare.
Okay, so let's see if I actually get this. I spend 100 Ghana cedis on my phone to buy something.
Yeah.
My charges, it depends. I don't know how much your charges are going to be, but let's just say 1 Ghana cedi.
Yeah.
And then there's also the telco charges too. So those charges, that's the 1 Ghana cedi charge, and then the telco goes into my account that you call the E-Sika.
Yes.
That's what it means.
Yes.
So whatever expenditure I'm going to make on that mobile phone, on that digital platform, whatever charges that needs to be deducted from the service provider or even the government doesn't go to the service provider. It doesn't go to the government, but comes to my E-Sika account. That's what it means.
Would have gone to the government.
Yes.
And the e-levy will come to you.
Okay, but the service provider will receive.
Will have this.
Okay, so you are denying government some bit of revenue there.
I'm not denying government anything. Government has money, like I said.
Government has money.
Yes.
Okay, so that percentage comes to me.
It comes to you.
Okay.
You see? Sorry, go ahead.
No, just go on.
You see, government makes money more when people have money. When people don't have money, government doesn't have money. When people have disposable income, that's when government makes money.
Okay.
If you don't have disposable income, you do not spend because it is hand to mouth, payday to mouth, and so if you have money, you spend. Government makes money. So the whole idea is to encourage the economy, is to oil the economy and get the economy moving. So government will not lose at all. We've worked out the numbers, and I said, when to the glory of God I'm in power, and with those in the space, we will work it out again, like I said, as all part of the Ghana First policy to reimagine every sector of the economy, and all these things are going to be part of it.
All right. I'm looking at how much that is actually going to accrue when the person is 60 years old, especially when transactions are not done frequently, and even when transactions are actually done, the amounts involved is not that high that can generate enough to be saved for somebody who gets to the age of 60.
So, 2 main issues. 1, how much you are spending in a day, and 2, what the tax will be. These are 2 main issues. But one thing being forgotten is that money that is in your account is earning you interest.
Okay.
Because obviously, that money will not sit there. If it sits there, it's a cost to government. The same way you take money to the bank, if it sits there, it's a cost to the bank. The moment you give the money to your bank, the bank immediately loans the money out, and they make money. So all that interest is coming to you. So you are looking at it, don't look at it only as what I'm getting as my tax, but it is the interest accumulation over a period when you are 60 years old. It is paid lump sum to you. Unlike Senate, that you are paid to, my friend said the father gets 280 or not 480 after working for so long for government. No.
At the end of the month?
Yeah.
480 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
Wow.
That will not happen under E-Sika. Because that person will get a lump sum all these years for you. Whilst you're getting your Senate.
Okay, so you have the E-Sika and then we'll have the Senate.
Oh, definitely. It doesn't take away from Senate. It's completely, Senate is still there.
How can we control that wastage in Senate, as you said?
Again, like I said, it all depends on government government working for the people. You see, for some reason, NPP, NDC, they like to punish us. I keep on saying it, seriously. Because you are doing a road for me, I have to go through that for 2 years. It shouldn't be. Because you are doing a road for me doesn't mean I have to go through that for 2 years. You have to ensure that whilst you are doing the road, mitigate the dust. So that I can also be able to use that road. When I'm coming on my campaign tours, and I get to, Amasaman coming down, it is a nightmare. They don't care. But if you care about the people, you will ensure that the institutions you put in place are working for the people. That's all about it. That's what I said. They have followed a growth-oriented development model for 32 years. Growth-oriented development model has 3 main drawbacks. 1, it is aid-oriented. 2, it's FDI dependent, right? And 3, it doesn't believe in self-reliance. So growth-oriented development never helps the country following it, and it doesn't help the people.
But another school of thought will say that growth-oriented development has the people in mind, because the theory is that if the economy is able to grow, then it benefits the people in there. But if the economy is not able to grow as expected, then people actually will not be benefited. So that growth is important to see the interest of the people.
You know what is funny?
Tell us.
Those even that push the growth-oriented development, which is the Washington Consensus, they have left it. They've now moved away from the Washington Consensus. They don't follow it anymore because they realize that it did not work. Like I said, Moses' time, when 14%, who moved up 14% in their pocket, in their lifestyle, in their well-being? I'll give you a clear, a simple, very, very realistic example. Take Japan.
Yeah.
Japan. They have the best roads, high-speed train, best airports. They are so clean, so decent. Top economy, growth is doing very well. They have the highest suicide rate in the world because they have forgotten about the human. That's what happens with growth-oriented development. You forget about the human, you become depressed. Because when you wake up, it is your pocket that talks to you. It is not the GDP scale on the screen. It's your pocket. And when your family calls, Sir George, and then your BP goes up.
But for Japan, that high suicide rate has less or nothing to do with their pockets because
that's what I said. It's not that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It is they forgot the human-centered person. That's what I said. When you follow the human, the people-oriented development, you are ensuring that the person is not only developing economically, financially, but his welfare, his well-being,
talking about holistic growth.
Thank you. His happiness, his joy, is all taken into consideration. That's why I say that NPP and DC, they don't care about us. If you care about us, you will not do roads for me and punish me with dust for 2-3 years. And you think that I should clap for you because you are doing a road for me. No, you are killing me with dust. You are destroying. Whenever a road is coming, all the companies and industries along that road, they go out. It shouldn't be.
Okay, all right. I guess that's what has informed your 4-day work week policy too, where we're going to work from Monday to Thursday, and there's a break from Friday to Saturday.
And Sunday.
And Sunday. Economies are moving around the clock. We have some talking about 24-hour economy, some talking about how to increase productivity in various sectors. Now, reducing the working day to 4 days. The first question is how does that increase productivity? And how do you get the people to actually generate enough to get the country running?
The main word you mentioned there is productivity.
Yes.
In my office, Adu gave me, he said it. They don't come to the office.
When?
They don't come to the office.
At all?
No.
They don't come to the office at all?
They have targets. They meet their targets. It's about productivity. You set the targets. Your target is ABCD. Why come from Kasua all the way to Labone where my office is and spend 1 hour in traffic? You get there, you are sweating. And you have to cool down. And then you spend another 1 hour, you go back. Or come from Lashibi or Tema. It's about productivity. It's about targets. So that is where I say that we have to reimagine everything. You can do a 24-hour economy and you can still be bankrupt. In fact, I'm saying so because it's about targets. If you set targets for the people and they achieve the targets, it's not about the number of hours being worked. It's about the people. No, I like my daughter's phrase a lot. It's where are we trying to get to? That's what it is. That's what are we getting to? So how do we get there legally and morally? That's what it is. So if you set the targets for you, as I said, the data is very clear. Currently in Ireland,
yes,
in UK, it is so clear. Productivity has gone way up. They've come down to 4 days because they set the targets, and the targets we are working towards. It's not about the number of hours or days I spend in the office. I come in here to achieve a target. So when I meet a target, that's what matters. If I can do it from the car park, from Brick Gardens, or from the restaurant, that's what matters. At the end of the day, when I call my team to a meeting and they come, they've all met their targets.
All right. Okay. And then into agriculture. One biggest challenge that farmers do have in this country, first of all, has got to do with inputs. Then their challenges also getting financing from the banks. It looks like they even have some challenges with ADB itself. Before even moving into your Agric for Wealth, how do we resolve those basic needs and challenges that the farmers go through? Inputs, loans, and even getting fertilizers for their farms.
So I'll tell you the issue of the farmers. Like I said, I have met with them countless times. And my advice will meet with them Thursday, God willing. The farmers' issue is government priority. They tell me, say, no government since Rawlings has prioritized agric. They just give us lip service. It's when you hear on the radio, on the TV, oh, we've given the farmers $1 million. Only 10% comes to us. They tell me, in fact, 2, that the Party for Food and has completely failed. There is nobody.
The phase 2 or the phase 1?
The phase 2.
The phase 2.
I mean,
the phase 1, did you say it has been successful?
Nothing. That's actually the phase 2. Because we didn't work. So the issue about yes, those points you made are very real. But if a government prioritizes something, this government prioritizes the cathedral, right? They fund money, right?
Well, it's
no, but they fund the money to do something. And to the glory of God, now they prioritize free SHS. They fund the money, and they are still doing it. So first and foremost, what a government needs to solve any problem is prioritizing it. I see agric as important to my policy. So I will give it the utmost priority. So what does it mean? It means that the farmers, right now, I can't put the farmers under any commercial bank because their rates are too high. They can't afford to take a loan for 34% to go and plant something that they are not too sure. So first and foremost, I'm going to do the cooperative bank.
Okay.
And as part of my common prosperity for all is the cooperative scheme. It is so key to the whole thing. So the cooperative bank will ensure that farmers are put in cooperatives. When you are put in cooperatives and you go to a cooperative bank and you are in corporate, that bank will ensure, one, you have your loan not in single digits. In single digits, which means that the highest it will go is what? 9. No more than that. 2, every cooperative will have their own mechanization. Unlike what the others are saying that they'll have it in a district. Rawlings did a district, it didn't work. If you have the combine harvester in a district and you, George, you're a farmer, you want to use it, so the other George has come for it. You have to wait. Every cooperative will have their own mechanization. Every cooperative attached to it their own extension officer. Every cooperative have attached to it inputs. And then I said, it comes with a climate control warehousing. And it comes with irrigation. So when you prioritize something, you go the whole length to ensure that everything works. So all those issues you mentioned, I've taken them one because, and they've all been laid out clearly. And I've also added the agropolitan to have agriculture enclaves that are purely, and then you have your agric business as well. And this also goes for the poultry farmer. It goes for the fish farmer and the one involved in animal husbandry. So it goes for the whole scope. It's about a government for prioritizing agric and making sure. And I said, I intend to make farmers in Ghana as rich as my grandfather.
Okay, all right. 2 questions, and Doreen will come in with questions from the audience too. So the first one, if Ghanaians vote for you, you're going to have to deal with a debt to GDP that is over 70%. I mean, it's really that high. What's your plan to bring in that debt down?
It is what I just said earlier on, the corruption and the wastage. Over 500 billion still have been borrowed. And you ask yourself, where is the money? How was it spent? A lot of it has been wasted because less than 10%. In fact, only about 7 billion went to free SHS. So the first and foremost stuff is you cut down on expenditure. You can't keep on overspending. You cut down on government ministers and all the largesse they have. You cut down on every government, like I said, every government SOE that's not making money, you sell. Those who are making money, I am the shareholder. You make sure that you bring your money to the shareholder. So all these measures will be put in place so that government is able to secure money from every other source. And you cut down on travel. One time ago, I look at the budget. One government, I don't want to mention the name, one government spent $502 million a year on travel. That's $500 million a year. I don't want to mention the name, but it's in the budget. So all the things you can cut down on to save money. That's why I said, Ghana, we are rich. Issue of money, I don't worry there. It's a procurement issue we have to check. That expenditure that is over bloated and is always getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So all the wastage, when you cut them down and you check the looting, you check the corruption, you check the overpricing of services, George.
They help you cut down the debts.
We have money to cut down the debts.
Yeah, money to cut down the debt. And the second one is good. Why do you want to sell SOEs that are not making profit or doing well?
In the first place, it's been proven everywhere in the world that government is bad at doing business.
Really?
We are not good at doing business.
China has a different story. Japan has a different story.
No, China is a different story. China is,
yes.
Let me say something about China. Okay, so you see, China, the SOEs are used as investment tools outside.
Well, I get that, yes.
So you see their state companies are outside. They are used as investment tools to project the Communist Party's agenda outside China. So the Communist Party ensures that they are working because there's an agenda to project the Communist Party's economic arm outside of China using their state-owned enterprises. That's why DS are working. We don't have that. You have SOEs that are not making money. They say it all the time, they're not making money. Why are we keeping them? Because somebody wants to appoint CEOs. Somebody wants to appoint a board. I don't need that. Government is not good at doing business. Government is good at one thing: policy and regulation.
Okay.
So one of the things we will do under the Ghana First policy when we reimagine is what I call the triple helix development model. The triple helix, which is one, government as the policymaker and regulator. Two, the private sector as the engine of growth and the capital person. And for the first time, nobody has done this. Every government has done since the last 32 years. Two, they say PPP, private sector. No, it hasn't worked because the traditional sector are the ones that own the land. They are the ones that can mobilize the people because they are the key. Those are his subjects, and they are the ones that we should use as vehicles for development. So what a Twum-Barimah-Adu Azongo government is bringing is a triple helix development plan, where it is the government as the policy maker and the regulator, the private sector as the engine of growth and the provider of capital, and the traditional sector as the vehicle for development and the mobilization of the masses.
Why don't you find out why these SOEs are not doing well and see how best you can solve those problems in there? What's going to be different from a private man who will come in that you're going to sell those SOEs to, that the governments with whatever resources that they have, including the best human resource, cannot solve with the state-owned enterprises? Because
I have worked in an SOE before.
Yes.
And for some reason, the mentality is a bit different.
But it can be changed.
It can be changed. Okay. But the point is that that's not government. Government, we're not good at that. Ours is policy and regulation. I make the policy, I regulate. And when I sell all these SOEs, I don't need all this government. I'm not good at running. Government is not good at, in the first place, a government every 4 years goes for election. SOE stays forever. So therefore, it's not good. I might do well with my SOE because I've looked at them. Somebody might come doesn't care. And so that is not a good model because governments change. The Chinese government, they stay forever. Before then, they were changing every 10 years, but now she's like forever now, till he goes, till he dies. So that one, you can have a policy, you can have a, and that's the way that works. But here, every 4 years, you are changing government. And you want an SOE that is there. And so whenever you change government, the shareholder is now a new government. That new government will have a different agenda. So government shouldn't go into the business of SOEs. The ones that can be, I believe strongly, like I said, we need a media. Government of Ghana needs one to control the financial sector. So the banks, we need them.
Okay.
Definitely we need the banks. The banks, even will grow them more because we will use the banks as tools to finance our development. So we need the banks. That's one area. We need the media, because we won't let a foreigner come and tell our story. We will tell our own story. We won't let a foreigner come and tell. We will tell our own story. So we need the media. So we will grow the media, whether it is print, electronic, or social. We'll grow the media. We need the energy sector, because it is key to development. So that one also, we have to fix it. And put how we'll fix it, we have to fix it. That we need. And we need our, what's it called, internet connectivity. Because it's key for the transmission of information. A foreigner cannot own it, or a local cannot own it, because then it becomes a problem for government.
Yeah, so these spaces are going to be controlled by government.
I know government, but the rest, like, why should I own GIHOC? Why should government do origin beer? Tell me. I don't need to do origin beer. You do origin beer, let me drink it. Why should I do origin beer? I don't need to do origin beer. Mine is to make policy that your origin beer should contain Bailey or...
So you don't actually... Do you believe in government actually holding that majority shares in Goil?
Definitely.
Okay, because it's part of your energy policy.
It's energy policy, yes.
Okay. So if there's an SOE that's making profits, will you sell it?
Like in which area?
Making profit in terms of making a lot of returns.
It depends on the area. It depends on the sector.
Not necessarily in the sectors you've talked about. Not in communication, not in media, not in energy, and not in the financial sector.
I'll sell it.
You sell it, even though they're making profit. Yeah. Okay. And then what comes in your people-centered then? Because if you want to run a people-centered administration, and the people is in the center of all of this, and then you want to privatize some state enterprise or state-owned enterprises, which comes in with an objective of making profit, that usually does not fix within the people-centered approach. How then do we believe that you're going to run a people-centered government?
People-centered government is different entirely from that. Let me tell you why I say ourselves. I know of a bank that was doing very well. Very, very well, making super profits. The MD was changed. The bank is now on their knees.
It's a private bank?
Yes. Okay. It takes one person and everything goes 180. That's all it takes. And the bank was doing very well. The workers were very happy. It didn't face any of the pressures of those 5 banks that were. But now the workers have been laid off because the MD was changed. And the new MD just messed up. So that is why I said government, it's not government's business, because that person doing very well will retire. 60 years maximum, whatever the retirement age is.
Yes.
So this bank, the person retired. A new MD came, and it's been a mess. And they are struggling to raise money. So that person is doing well for the SOE. He or she might retire. That new person will change the whole approach.
Okay.
It is not and if you want to protect the employee, that's how you do it. Let it be run by people who know how to do it, and they can secure. And what I do as a policy, I put in place the policy for the workers, so that private sector, employers will not abuse the worker. That's what I do, so that every worker is secured in their job. That the government policy says that I must earn minimum this amount. I must get these benefits. I must get these healthcare benefits. That's for me to do for the worker.
Okay.
That's about common prosperity and the well-being and welfare of the worker.
Okay. I guess this George Twum-Barimah-Adu, who is an independent presidential candidate, wanting to become the president of this beautiful country of ours. And we've had some interesting times with him here. I'm going to quickly hand over to Doreen, but we're also live on GBC News. We are live on Obono TV. We are live on Unique FM. We are live across the 16 regions of this country, making it 18 radio stations across the country. On the internet is gbcghanaonline.com. On Facebook is Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, and of course GTV Ghana. And that's how far we're connected, scattered across the country for this particular program, the GBC's presidential encounter. So we'll hand over to Doreen, who will pick questions from our audience here in the studio. Doreen,
well, George, thank you so much for this opportunity. And let's give it up for Mr. Twum-Barimah-Adu. Well, he has given us some details about his policies. He's talked about the Ghana First Within Cost, Agric for Wealth, E-Levy, he says, is going, and then you're going to have E-Sika, Domestic Direct Investment, District Contracts for Youth, and then 4-day work week, he says, is coming. Now, I'm going to give the opportunity to our studio audience. Please, if you have a question, just let me know. I'll bring the microphones to you. You tell us your name, where you're coming from, and then you get the opportunity to ask your questions. So if you have any questions, just please raise your hand and let me know. Okay, so we have one question here. But Mr. Edu, I just want to ask you this question. Honestly, do you believe that Ghana is ready for an independent candidate, considering how they have performed over the years in the elections? Hold on to that. I'll take 2 more questions, then you can answer that.
Thank you very much. My name is Abdulrazak Yusuf from Disability Sector, Ghana Blind Union specifically. My question is, I want to know whether persons with disability have any role in your administration before. If we have, what specifically? Because I have not heard you say anything about us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your question. We have one question from here.
Thank you very much. My name is Reverend Divine Aglago, GPCC. I have a few questions for you. You spoke about growth-oriented development model and district contract for the youth. That is to say, contracts will be given to the youth in their various districts or communities to retain them there. Mr. Aspiring President, the world is now a global village where technology and digitization are the orders of the day. Without the provision of the necessary technical know-how, I want to believe that your good self, in your profile that was read to us, we read that you even schooled outside. Without providing the necessary technical know-how to these youth, how would they cope with these contracts you're talking about? Then still on the youth, Galamsey is now a national problem facing us as a people. Day in, day out, we hear about some sites collapsing, taking away precious lives, particularly the youth. Mr. Aspiring President, what plans do you have to salvage the nation and then the growing youth at large? Finally,
I think you should hold on.
Okay.
Let him answer the 4 questions, and then when he's done, we'll come back to you to continue with
Thank
your
you very
question.
much.
Thank you so much.
So we'll start off with Doreen. Whether, in all honesty, you think Ghana is ready for an independent presidential candidate, for that matter, an independent presidential candidate winning a general election?
Thank you so much. I say to everybody that I am not an independent presidential candidate.
Okay.
I am a presidential candidate. There is nowhere in the Constitution of Ghana that states that there are independent presidential candidates. It is the press that has been coined that phrase. And I told EC that. It's been coined by the press. In the US, they are called third-party candidates. Because in the Constitution, right, it says that there shall be a president who shall be head of state, head of government, and commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And it talks about political parties.
Yes.
So what we have are presidential candidates. Some are backed by political parties, and some are not backed. So when the press refers me as an independent president, I've said it many, many times, but I realize that that's why I said the press themselves needs to be, because the press is stubborn. It becomes an easier phrase for the press to use. But I am a presidential candidate like any other presidential candidate. I am not backed by a political party. But back to your question, yes, the answer is a resounding yes. Who votes for these parties? Who makes these presidents? You, Doreen, you, George, myself, and everybody here. All we need is courage and boldness. For 32 years, we have gone one way. It has never helped. And so far as that's why I said we have 2 options: use breath, recycle breath. What we need is fresh breath. Because what we need now is a new perspective that will change this country and reorient this country into a model that the question asked by my friend here about the disabled. Because when it is people-oriented, that question will never come. Because they will automatically see themselves fitting into the whole fabric of the economy. I don't see when you have a government and policies that are for the people, everybody benefits. So when I come to a district and I'm saying I'm doing district contracts for the youth, the first and foremost thing I said is for those who qualify. That's what I said. But there are also youth in that district, including others like the disabled, who might not qualify because they didn't finish school. But it is linked because it's a linkage. It is linked. My district contract for the youth policy is linked to a community skill scheme project. So first and foremost, there will be the community skill scheme for all districts and all youth in every district, because they will have it in every district, including the disabled and everybody who wants to learn any skill. It is free. It's government. It's like a TVET. You go there, you learn. And when a contract comes and you have qualified, because we know you went there, it is part of you because it's for those who have qualified in the district. And so it is linked to a community skill scheme for those who don't have the skill to go and learn there and what's it called? Have the skill. And those who have it already, like I went to school, have it already, will also have it. So it is a very simple process, like I said. Yes, I believe strongly that this year there will be a massive. I have seen, when I go around a district, right, and I talk to people, the question they ask me, are you in this UNPP? I'm not. Okay, then sit down. We don't want to see them here at all. They come all the time, stories and lies. We don't want to see them here. And I see that for 32 years, we have seen it. 16 years of MPP, NDC. What new do they have? One, two. I say this all the time. Political parties are not set up to govern. General Musculo said it. He himself said, I didn't say it. That they are set up to win elections. And it's true. That's what they do.
The best way to govern, for you to govern, you have to win the election.
They have to win elections.
Yeah.
And one, two, they can't even govern well. You know why?
Why?
Because that is the way it is structured. They look only at their people. So like you George, a GBC, you've won election. You take only from GBC people. But outside of GBC are 1,000 of people who have knowledge than some people in GBC. That is why the party system would never be able to develop Ghana. Because the party system is parochial. But my system, I take from the whole country. My landscape, my talent is every Ghanaian qualified, prepared to serve in my government. I don't care. Like I said, again, I'll say this here for the people to know. In my cabinet, the minority leader, the majority leader shall be in my cabinet. Because to me, it's about Ghana. It's about a party. So the majority leader and the minority leader shall be in my cabinet. Because I need to work for all Ghana. And they are a people and a party I need to work with. So I believe I've answered all the questions here. With the people around government, that question won't come. Because whatever I'm doing for prosperity is to ensure that everybody, like I said, no matter who you are, how you look like, where you come from, you qualify.
Okay.
And with the contracts, one is for those who are qualified, and two, the community skills scheme is to absorb those who are not qualified, to train them and make them qualified to be able to apply for it.
Okay, and the plans for the persons with disability, they also have very special needs.
Thank you.
So there needs to be a special approach to how they all cannot be put in the same pool.
Thank you.
So what's going to be special about your policies?
That is, and it is in the Constitution. That is why Chapter 6, I'm asked all the time, what is your manifesto? And I said, Chapter 6 of the Constitution is my manifesto. And I don't know why parties do manifestos. And I know why they actually I know why they do it. They do it because they will not enforce it. They don't go by it. That's how they do it. But if you take it from here, you are bound by it. Chapter 6 of the Constitution is my manifesto. And it covers everything that we need as a people. You can go back and you can read it. Thank you very much. Okay. And look at Article 36. It covers everything. Article 36 covers everything. And that is my constitution. And so I intend to ensure that I follow this and I apply this and I go by this for the welfare, the well-being of all Ghanaians. So definitely this covers them. It says we can make room for them in anything we are doing. And that's why I make sure that anything I'm doing, every person in Ghana, in every area, disability or not disability, you are covered. Nobody is left out because they are Ghanaians.
All right. Galamsey.
Before you, I'm not sure you've answered his question, but before you move on, you made mention about the issue of manifestos and the fact that you don't believe in why parties should have manifestos. I beg to differ because if parties have manifestos, then the citizens can hold them accountable to the content of their manifestos.
I can list for you now, NDC MPP, they have about 400 promises in their manifesto, the last one. Let's use the NDC MP because they are in power. I can list for you how it is covered. Let's the third. NDC had over 700 in the manifesto the last time. Over 700 promises. So the question is, Joe had a whole program on it and asked them, why do you guys have manifesto if you can go about it? Because it is not a binding document.
But people can hold you accountable. That is why when parties do not fulfill their promises in their manifestos, citizens vote them out.
Yes, and for 32 years, they've not been fulfilling it. Read chapter 6. That is more binding because this is the Constitution. And if it says that you are supposed to ensure even and balanced development across the whole country and for every town and people, it says, and so if I don't do it, you can say you violated the law. So I believe the power is here more than the party manifesto. So I say to everybody, chapter 6 of the Constitution, it's my manifesto.
It's your manifesto.
And I strongly believe, I live by it.
Okay. Galamsey, let's touch on it.
Thank you very much, Galamsey. Yes, Galamsey is right now a problem. It is a product of a failed development model.
Okay.
It's as simple as that. And I've met with them across the country, and I speak to them, and they said, boss, if we are guaranteed 2,000 cedis a month, we won't do this because it's killing us.
If we are guaranteed 2,000 cedis a month?
Yes, because it's killing us. They don't guarantee that one. Like I said, it's a failure of the economic model that is always growth-oriented and not people. So they'll put their life in danger, go in a pit, and have an issue. Meanwhile, we are all suffering. It is affecting everyone. So what would the Twum-Barimah-Adu policy, what would the Twum-Barimah-Adu Azongo presidency do? What I would do is to move them. Now if you go to Southern Africa, they've been moved to industrial hemp. The law has not been passed in Ghana here. Industrial hemp, you make far more money than what you are doing.
So you move them into industrial hemp?
Yes. Okay. And industrial hemp is not marijuana, I beg you. It's completely different.
I get that.
It is completely different. You can't mix the two. And industrial hemp is used for so many things. In Southern Africa, if you go to Zimbabwe, Malawi, but they've moved the youth into industrial hemp. And the law is that every ounce produced must be exported. So there's money, 1. 2, carbon harvesting. You plant trees, you rest. If they had been told that the tree they were destroying, they could just sit back and get money from the carbon it is producing. They would have done it. It is no sweat. So these two, I will move them there. And I've sat down.
These two can guarantee them the 2,000 that.
Oh, far more than that. Far more because the numbers. My team. We've done the numbers. Far more than that. And like I said, it is having a government and a president who cares about the people. The people are his everyday agenda. His breakfast, lunch, and dinner is the people, not about growth rate 2%. No.
Okay. All right. Once again, this GBC's presidential encounter. We say big thanks to Star Ghana for supporting this particular program. Let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll pick the next batch of questions. Stay with us. We'll be right back.